In today's video, I'm addressing the Gen Z and some of the millennials, depending on what side of that spectrum that you're on. I want to share with y'all the lessons that I learned that I wish I had implemented when I was in my 20s, or basically really when I was like 18, 17, and 18. And these are the things that I wish I had implemented that could have set me up now that I'm 45. Welcome or welcome back to Starr Knows Credit. My name is Starr Carter, and on this channel I talk personal and business credit, and I also talk about personal finance. If this is your first time joining, I hope you will be a subscriber, and y'all make sure that y'all hit the like button. That way this video get pushed out to more viewers that want to see content just like yourself. Thank you so much. I have hit my 20,000 subscriber goal, so now we're going to go on to the next goal of 40,000, but I couldn't have done it without you all, so much gratitude. Thank you so much. Now it's time to get into today's video. So I got to talk to you all about what the things that I learned now that I'm on this 45-year-old, side of the game. I want to talk to my Gen Zs and I want to talk to my millennials to see where you are and the things that you need to implement now before you get on this end of the spectrum. So when I was looking up the age range for the millennials and for the Gen Zs, I found out that the millennials, y'all run anywhere from 27 to 40. But the Gen Zs, y'all run anywhere from 11 years old to 26 years old. So depending on, as I said at the beginning of the video, where you at on the millennial spectrum, it may not be too late for you to turn this ship around if you have not been implementing some of these tips that I'm going to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. My first lesson for you guys is learn everything you can now about finances and about how your credit works. Especially you Gen Zs that's between 11 and 26 years old. I want you guys to really learn what credit is, how important it is now, and learn about personal finance. This is going to set you up for life, guys, because when I was 18 years old, when I got my first credit card, I had no idea, no clue about it, because my mother and my grandmother didn't have credit cards. So I never saw credit cards in my house. So I was the first one to actually get a credit card in my family. When I turned 18, I got a Discover card. This was 1997, all right? And so what I did with that card, I went immediately and got a cash advance off that card at an ATM, not realizing that that is some of the highest rate money other than, payday lending and stuff like that, that is going to cost you a lot in interest, and the compounding interest is very expensive. And even though it wasn't but $500, it still was a very expensive amount of money just to take out. Because of course I wasn't paying it right back off, because if you pay it right back off, you don't have to worry about the interest. But I wasn't doing that. It was like, okay, your minimum payment was $25, so that's what I paid. I paid $25. So I made it essentially into a loan, not realizing that I was paying a lot of interest. And then eventually they bumped that up to $1,000, and I did the same exact thing. And I kept rinsing and repeating that until eventually I could not afford to pay it on my little hostess salary that I was making at the time. So I was ruining my credit before I even got started, guys. Before I was even 22 years old, I had already ruined my credit, because this credit card had already went into default. So learn everything that you can. If you're able to take any financial classes, if you're still in high school and and there's classes that you can take on finance, sign up for those. If they're extra credit or extracurricular classes or whatever, take your finance class. It will do you so much justice, because when I was in school, they definitely did have that type of thing. So if they are offering that now in this day and age, y'all do yourselves a favor and do that. And if you are a millennial and you between 27 and 42, look, it's still not too late, because I didn't learn the things that I learned until I was 38. So it's never too late to learn, but make sure that you are reading financial books. If there's not any classes, read some financial books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, things from Dave Ramsey. Learn about debt before you get into debt, because if you learn about it first, you'll be preventing yourself from getting in debt. And that's all it's about. If you know what credit is about, if you know what finances are about, the likelihood of you ruining your credit and the likelihood of you running up a bag, getting yourself in debt way before you even leave your home or while you're in college, you will understand how this could be very detrimental to your future. My second lesson to you guys is to save your money and invest. Okay, save and invest. So especially if you just got like your first job, if you're a Gen Z, if you just got your first job, or if you're still in college, save as much as you can, guys. Don't be out there just throwing your money, you know, in the club and stuff. And I know I was young, so I know you want to go out, you want to have a good time, but save as much as your money as you can. And if you are able to invest in like a stock market, or even start your 401k or your Roth IRA, stuff like that, go ahead and start saving for your future, because you think you got all the time in the world. It seemed like it took forever for me to turn 18. It seemed like it took forever for me to turn 21. But now that I'm 45, I can't tell you where the time has gone. My son is 22 years old now. So it's like the time goes by really fast. So if you save now, especially in your early 20s, if you start saving and investing right now, investing money, then by the time you're my age, if you got some money sitting aside for 20 years in an investment in a stock like an index fund, like I was saying, or even your if you have started working and you're matching your 401k at your job, by the time you're my age, 20 years from now, then you probably will already have a nest egg build up, okay? And then you possibly can retire a lot earlier than 65 or 67 or whatever that retirement age is. You won't have to continue to work past that if you start early. Start early so you can retire early. And another important point I want to make about that too is when you invest, and especially if you invest as much as you can and you start making those dividends and stuff, you can actually live off the dividends like income. So the more you can put into that, the more money that you can make off your money. That's a tip from Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. You want to make a lot of money. You want to build up your asset column so that you can make money off of that income. That can provide for your expenses and the things that you do want. Your money is making money for you versus the opposite. Another lesson that I learned since I've turned 45 is time is your greatest asset, guys. Because you can get money back, you can change your careers, all that stuff you can replace. But time is the only thing that once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. It doesn't matter if you are super rich, you can't even buy time, okay? You can't even buy time back. So you want to treat your time very wisely, okay? I know when, like I said, when you're young, you feel like you got all the time in the world, but it goes by really fast. Trust me, because like I said, my son is 22 years old. I vaguely remember him growing up. That's how fast it goes. I was 22 going on 23 when I had him. So the time is really, really going really fast. So make sure that you're spending your time doing the things that's going to move you forward. And if it's not going to move you forward, if it's not conducive to the goals that you have set for your life, then you got to get rid of it. You got to exit, because you do not have any time to waste, guys. It goes by way quicker than you can imagine. My next tip for you, another lesson that I learned, is do the career that you want to do. I don't care how scary it is, if it does or does not involve going to college, but do the career that you want to do. Do you know how many people have went to school and are not doing that because that's not what they wanted to do, or they might have thought that that was what they wanted to do, or that might have been what their parents wanted them to do, but that's not really what they want to do. So they got student loan debt for a degree they're not even actually doing. They're doing something totally different. So you got to do what you want to do with your career and work on that. Okay, work on that and throw your all into it and become an expert in whatever that is. And that way, if you're doing something that you love, you will never work a day in your life. But you got to do that, and don't try to people please even your family and your parents or whatever. You got to do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, it's your life. It's your life at the end of the day. I remember when my son was younger and he said that he wanted to be a medical doctor because he thought that that's what I wanted him to be, was a medical doctor. And I'm like, no, this is your life. I don't know how much longer, I'm going to be on this earth, but when I'm gone, it's still your life, and you got to be able to do the things that you love and take care of the things that you need to take care of without mama being around. So it's very important that you chase your career, do the career things and the career goals that you want to do while you have the time. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I wanted to be a business owner when I was younger, but now I'm just now becoming one in my 40s. But if I had done it back then, no telling where I would be at now, because I was, like I said, people pleasing. And also I started working when I was 16, so I was chasing money instead of chasing my dream and chasing things that I really wanted to do. So I wound up getting a series of a bunch of dead-end jobs, hostessing, working at Burger King. I even worked at a textile plant. So I did a series of a bunch of things that really just held me up, because I eventually had to go back to school to do what I wanted to do anyway. So just trying to save you some time, because like I said, time is your greatest asset. Another big lesson that I learned is don't waste your money following the trend or what's going on right now, or what's the end thing, as we used to say, what's hot, what's, you know, what's popping and all that type of jazz. Don't get caught up in that stuff, because nothing's new under the sun. I remember when I was in my senior year and bell bottoms jeans had started coming back, and my mother was like, oh, that's what we used to wear back in the 70s or whatever. So whatever the trend that's going on, those trends keep revolving and coming back around all the time. So don't get caught up in the hype of the trends, especially now that we're in social media age. You know, when I was that young, we didn't have Facebook and TikTok, especially TikTok and Instagram and all that was not a thing. You know, Facebook didn't come around until like 2008. I remember MySpace, but I really wasn't on MySpace back then. But you know, because we're seeing so much stuff and so many people are showing their quote unquote best life on the social media, and you want to live like that or live like what it seemed like that they have going on, I don't want you to get caught up in that. Like I said, you need to be saving your money, investing for your future and stuff like that, so you don't have to pretend to be rich. You can actually be rich, okay? Another life lesson that I learned, guys, is don't be in a rush to grow up. Okay, especially the Gen Zs that's between 11 and 26 years old, if you're still at home with your parents, look, don't be in a hurry. If they're not kicking you out the door when you turn 18, check it. Save your money, because you have all your life to be an adult. Okay, you have all your life to be an adult. You only have a little time to be a child, to be a teenager, to be a young adult. You don't have but a little time, but you will be grown your whole life after that. You'll be a full-fledged grown person after that. So take your time. Don't be in a rush to grow up fast. I moved out the house from my grandmother when I was 19 years old because I didn't want to abide by her rules. So I had car payment, I had rent and light bill and all those different things. I had to pay my own car insurance and get my own groceries and buying clothes. I mean, I had to do everything, you know. So, and I was only 19 years old. So you got to understand, with adult choices come adult responsibilities. And if you're not ready for that, then I would say, if your parents are not telling you to get up out the house, or, you know, it's not a situation where you really need to leave, I would say stay as long as you can. And that way you can be saving, like I said, investing and setting yourself up for a bright future. And lastly, I would say have fun, but don't overdo it, okay? Because I'm telling you guys, when I was in my 20s, I had a ball. I would not sit here and lie to you. I was club hopping, getting my grandmother and my mother and my aunt to babysit my son and all that type of thing, because I was 22 going on 23 when I had him, so I was still very young. But then I wound up having to go back to college like a year later because the job I was doing at a textile plant, it had closed down. So now I'm back in school when I could have just went to school in 97 when I graduated versus going back in 2004. But I did have to go back, like I said, 7 years later after graduating, so that I could get a job where I worked in banking. But I just want you guys to know you can have fun. Nobody's saying to not enjoy your life, especially when you're young and you're a college student or whatever you got going on. But just don't let that be the main focus of your life. You got to understand that time flies. I can't tell you this enough. Time flies. And if you spend all your time partying, by the time you get mature enough to realize it, I don't want it to be too late for you guys, because by the time I start really taking it seriously, I was already well into my 30s, because I really didn't have anybody telling me, you know, to do better than that. So I really want you guys to really do a lot better than what I did, because even though I'm on the turnaround and I turned my life around and I'm on the right track now, I could be a lot further if I had to learn these lessons back then. So this is what this video is about, is to help somebody that it was me, that could have been me. I want you guys to get this lesson now. So if there's anybody that's watching this video that is around my age, y'all leave me some comments and let me know what lessons did you learn that you want to share down in the comments below. I like to hear from you guys. And just another quick reminder, Credit Ready program is still available. I'm going to link that down in the description box and also in the pinned comment. Y'all can come on in and join us. We're going to be reading for our February book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. We just got done reading Rich Dad Poor Dad for our January book. So you want to come in. It's a whole community and it's a 6-week course for only $10 a month. You will love it. We are having a ball. We had our first book club meeting yesterday and it was all that. So y'all come on in and join the Credit Ready program to learn about finances, to learn how your finances and your credit works together to propel you into your financial future. And I want to thank you one more time for being a part of the Starr Knows Credit family. Thank you so much. And if you're interested, please look at this next video that me and Calvin Russell did about is the American Dream dead? Are you looking at buying a home for 2024? My boy Calvin has some tips in this video for you. So check this video out next.